second at the games was really exciting. It was pretty surreal. You know, last year was my first time I'd finally cracked through and I finally made it and I came fourth. And then this year, you know, being able to improve upon a position that's pretty hard to improve upon, there's only 3 more spots above it, and to do it fairly commandingly was it's just a lot of hard work. And then that weekend I was just very focused and incredibly thorough in, you know, my preparation for every event. And I think by the end of the weekend, that, you know, that the mental edge I think I had on some competitors, it might have been just as fit as me, paid off.
Brent Fikowski is enjoying the afterglow of finishing second in the world at the 2017 CrossFit Games World Championship in Madison, Wisconsin. After such a grueling competition, he can afford to take it easy at today's workout at Kelowna CrossFit.
Today's a little more of a light workout. This will be my first time at the gym since the competition, so it's been about 11 days. Take a pretty thorough warm-up and then just do the same movements I would typically do in a training session, but just with a little less intensity and not nearly as much weight on the bar as I would usually do, just to kind of get the body, you know, moving again, get some blood flowing.
In 2016, Fikowski finished fourth. That experience helped, and it helped him focus on what he needed to fix in order to improve his standing.
Since I've started CrossFit, I've been pretty aerobic, my muscle endurance has been pretty strong, but compared to the other CrossFitters, I've needed to work on my strength, so things like my squatting. So last year there was an event that was a clean ladder, so you had to pick up heavy barbells from the floor, bring them to your shoulder, multiple reps. And last year I came last place in that in 2016. And so this year a similar event came up, and the goal was to just try to come 25th. And all year I'd been basically training for the possibility of that event. And when it came up, we thought, all right, you know, best case scenario, coming 25th, and actually came 22nd or 23rd, which you know still was my second worst finish of the weekend. But you know, I worked really hard all year to climb those 15 places, and it was those 15 places that really helped in a large way to get me to silver medal.
The CrossFit Games has been described as a venue for determining the fittest on earth. The competitors learn about some of the events, which could range from obstacle courses to gymnastics, mere hours beforehand. This year's championship was 4 days of competition.
We started with a 30 minutes of running and swimming, and then we did a 20-minute bike race around this sort of track, this grass track. You know, there was a gymnastics event, there was a strongman event, there was a 1-rep max snatch, there was sort of an obstacle course sprint. Yeah, it was pretty wild. Lots of cool events this year. I actually won the first event of the weekend, which was a 1.5-mile run, a 500-meter lake swim, and then a 1.5-mile run. I was the winner of that event, which was exciting. I also won an event they called the Strongman Sphere. I've been working actually really hard on that stuff, so it was cool to see an improvement there. So you had to carry these 2 heavy objects in your hand across the field, handstand walk back, drag a sled, carry 500 pounds on your shoulders, walk it forward, handstand walk back, and sort of this back and forth, chaotic, carrying these big objects and then walking on your hands. So this sort of grunt work and this finesse of running on your hands, basically. I won that event as well.
In Wisconsin, it quickly became apparent that Matthew Fraser was going to defend his 2016 title as he built up a commanding lead.
Unless he really messed something up. He first was pretty much in his back pocket, so it was very much a battle for second. So it was myself and 2 or 3 other competitors that were sort of in this wash between second to 4th place, fighting for those two final podium spots. And you know, there's a bit of pressure, but it didn't really get to me, luckily. I was just really enjoying myself, and you know, between my coach and I, we just worked out game plans for each event and just hit it hard and recovered and did the next one.
In this year's preparation, Fikowski focused on maintaining his strength and concentration throughout the entire competition.
When you're there in the heat of competition and you're surrounded by the best, you keep finding a new level of intensity, and if you do 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 intense events in a row, if you're not ready to try to maintain that, if your body's not ready, those last 8 events are just going to be a real struggle.
This sport is not only physically demanding, but the mental aspect is critical too.
I kind of attribute it like you're playing a video game, and if you have a really good character that's maybe a 9 out of 10, you have a better chance of beating the guy that's an 8 out of 10, but you still have to play the game, right? And they can still beat you if they can use that 8 out of 10 better. So all year you try to build up your abilities, your engine, your strength. But once you get there, you have to reveal it. You have to show what you have. And I think I've been able to do both. I've been able to increase my abilities, but just as importantly, I think I display what I have better than anyone else there.
At 26, the financial controller at a high-tech firm is around the peak age for the sport, a sport that since 2007 has simply exploded in popularity.
It seems like every year people kind of think it's capping out, but the amount that it's grown in the last 3 years was more than it grew the 3 years before that. So I think I'm lucky to be in it when I am now, but who knows, maybe by the time I'm gone, it'll still be around for another couple years, and it'll be very much a household event to watch.
The question now becomes, is number one within reach? Can he, or anyone for that matter, catch Matt Fraser?
I think it can be done. I think it could be me. I don't focus too much on what everyone else is doing. The last year I've really tried to distance myself from like social media accounts of my competitors. I just, I know what I need to get better at because I wasn't good enough at it last year. I work on that just kind of here at the gym and just see what happens. If I train really hard all year and he trains really hard all year, he might get a little better, I get a little better, and it'll be the same story. I think that I can get better. I have more room to grow. I just want to see how good I can become, and if I can be better next year than I was this year, but maybe that doesn't land me in second again, I think I'll still be happy.